Hippity hip hip hop.
Hippity hip hop hip hippity. Ooh, got an echo. Ooh.
Echo, echo, echo.
What's this say over here? Warning what? The stream's bit rate is lower than recommended. I guess. Huh. Alright. There we go. Now we got an excellent connection. And we're recording. We're up and running, sir.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Had a little issue there for a second, but we're back. Alright. What's happening, John?
You know, same old shit. I'm right in the middle of a 7-day stretch and got 4 12-hour days left.
I feel that.
Dragging ass a little bit right now, but I'll be fine. Have an hour, hour and a half to shoot shit with you and go home and crash and get up and do it again tomorrow.
I don't have to. I don't pick up my first person till like 8 in the morning. So
holy shit!
Yeah, chilling. I'm gonna stay up tonight and play some Battlefield 5 or some Hitman. I ain't decided which
stay
one.
up till 12 p.m.
11 at least, man.
Right.
Fuck.
Holy shit! You could catch some ultra left late night semi comedy skit shows. I think they're still considered comedy. I don't know. I really don't know.
You know, I was watching libs of TikTok last night. I don't know if I'm laughing or crying.
A little bit of both.
I seriously fear that I'm going to meet somebody. You know what? No, worse than that. I was playing Red Dead Redemption last night. Now,
I love that game.
I was having fun. Some kid, whom I don't know, can't describe him, couldn't pick him out of a crowd of 5, don't know how old he was, not even really sure it was a boy or a girl, like, because he was a kid. But called me racist for shooting him about 9 times. You think what race are you? You sound white.
Question is, what race is your character? Because I murdered the
I
fuck
don't
out of
know. There was no head on him. I hit him with a 12 gauge.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 shots is overkill. I could see how you might think that's racist, but it's really not.
Do you know why I shot him 9 times?
Apparently, because he wouldn't stop fucking twitching.
Because the gun went click on the 10.
Yeah. Good answer.
There was actually a woman who gave that answer to the judge in court. He said, why did you shoot that man 14 times? She said on the 15th trigger pull it clicked.
Touche. If I'm the judge, I'm taking 10 years off your sentence because that's a fucking gangster ass.
It was self-defense.
The fact that you are truthful with me already shows rehabilitation. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I didn't wake up wanting to shoot motherfucker.
But I want to get
by mid-afternoon, however.
I want to kind of start this week off with a little rant of my own.
Good, I got one too.
And I just want people out there. I know that we kind of just really getting this podcast going, and we don't have a lot of viewers or subscribers yet or anything. So a lot of this that I say probably goes out there to empty space. But the good news is it's recorded. So in the future, if we have 10 million subscribers, people will go back and be able to watch this particular podcast, and I promise you it'll be true then, just like it's true now. If you aren't doing at least 80, can you please stay the fuck out of the left lane? Like, dude, this really bothers me to the point where I think it's fucking common sense by now that everybody should know the left lane is for passing and not doing 60. And when I roll up behind you, you want to brake check me, motherfucker. Oh, there was almost a road rage murder out here on Tuppers Creek just fucking 15 minutes ago, bro. This guy, and I want everybody out there to know that I'm an equal opportunist. I don't care if you're 18 or 80. I don't care if you're crazy, crippled. I don't give a fuck if you're driving with your lips because you're got some issues that's the way you have to fucking drive. I want you to know that if you are going that slow in the fast lane, I promise you're getting cussed the fuck out.
You know what?
And it's nothing personal. It might be your wife.
You're right.
Probably not. She's got more common sense.
It might be me.
It might be,
and
but
fuck you.
I mean, right? But I feel like that the other guy's response is worthwhile too. But from my perspective, I want everybody out there to know that you're getting cussed the fuck out for driving that slow in the fast lane.
Where I
don't care who you are.
I'm sitting in my mobile corner office all day. You want to do 35 in the left lane? I don't give a fuck. I'll do 35 behind you. I ain't got nothing to do but sit there all day. I do not road rage. I give everybody 3 car lengths.
No. I don't road rage. I hardly ever
if all of a
get
sudden,
to the point where I want to
the Chinese jet comes at me. I got left, right, front, back. I leave myself room to maneuver. I let the rest of the world fuck up, and I just chill in my own little space and bubble. I've learned you cannot. You can't. I can't even assume you're not going to just turn right and drive off a bridge. I've seen some shit driving a car. I watched a lady one day in Kentucky, just 90-degree angle in a straight line, driving a straight. It's Kentucky. You could see for miles and miles. And this bitch somehow made a direct left turn across the median and over there into a wall, and I was just like,
hey, if she was doing less than the speed limit in that left lane, then cool, she's out the fucking way.
I hope you're okay.
I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop.
People had already stopped.
So, but I was fine until he brake checked me, and then I was like, you dirty motherfucker. That was it.
I got a weird little rant too. It's been riding my shoulders all day.
Let's hear it.
I almost did a short video today, and I was like, I should save this. We've seen cities burnt down over police brutality. We've seen innocent people killed in police raids. We've seen vigilante police beat a man to death for what we've learned so far, no real apparent reason. We've seen all this police brutality and all these police brutality crimes that always seems to fall against what tends to be sometimes an innocent citizen, sometimes not. How come they never vigilante on the bad guys? 6 police officers are getting indicted because they went on a crazy spree and raided 5 known dope houses.
Because that's not how
the Brotherhood could. Y'all shoot the wrong motherfucker in the street, and the Brotherhood could cover it up and back you up. Why can't you do some good shit, and the Brotherhood back you up and cover you? The largest gang in the world. Quit fucking around.
And dude, that's exactly the reason why. When people ask me, which it doesn't happen often because I don't really have these types of conversations. But if or when people were to ask me, do you support your local police? I'm like, no more than the next guy. If I'm driving down the road and I see a cop getting his fucking ass beat, I'm going to help. I'm going to help. And it's not because he's a cop. It's because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Whether he's a cop or not.
Right.
That's the right thing to do.
Right.
But am I thin blue line stickers on my fucking car and the thin blue flags hanging on my house? Nah, man.
No.
Yeah, your job's fucking hard, but you know what? My job's hard too.
I've seen you be very wrong, and I've seen you be very right. So it's a case-by-case scenario. Being a cop, I have to say this all the time. Your profession does not dictate your morality.
Exactly.
Being a police officer don't make you a good person.
And also,
just because you're a police officer don't mean you're a good person.
And
just
also
because you're a fireman don't mean
your profession doesn't automatically deserve a certain level of respect.
No.
Like
the dumbest thing we do as people.
When I get respect.
The dumbest thing we do as people is ask somebody what they do for a living, like first thing.
Right. Because all you're doing is sizing them up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Usually when that question comes up, I just don't even answer them.
Well, you know what? I like my answer because I'm a cab driver. Now, I know you think that's low, but when you've been out cheating with your wife, you need to ride back to your car, who the fuck you call?
Right. Hey.
When you slosh drunk at the bar and you don't know how the fuck you're going to get home, who the fuck you call? I'm your best friend. I am everybody's best friend. Ain't nobody upset when the cab driver shows up, except for that one lady that I made wait at dialysis.
Yeah.
She was mad. She was
upset.
So let's hit some newsworthy stuff, because I know we want to jump into the January 6th, and that's going to probably be a doozy.
So what you want to start with?
How about this? So, I don't know that this ties in with the Biden missing documents. I don't know that this ties in with Hunter Biden going to China and getting millions of dollars and Biden's classified documents. I don't know for sure this has anything to do with China donating millions of dollars to several places like the Penn Biden Center where they keep classified documents. And I don't even know if this has anything to do with the classified documents that were... I just find it interesting that China stole U.S. military data to develop more advanced fifth-generation fighter jet. Why am I not getting my...
I wonder where they stole that from.
I don't know. I'm trying to... Yep. Come on. That should be gone. There.
Yeah, there's no doubt that, China, like, that's how China can develop all the weapons at once. It can steal all the classified documents at once. But the one thing that you can't match is a well-trained force.
Right.
And, you can steal all the planes you want, but there's no way you can tell me that China knows how to train those fighter pilots.
Oh no, this is just they
so they have all the fifth generation weaponry they want, but
no, they can definitely train their pilots. They already had pilots. Chinese pilots are pretty decent pilots. They managed to mimic the technology in our which I don't know if you've seen the new 6th generation, but they're better. But somehow they ended up with the technology to basically build an offset of the F-22. And I just thought it was an interesting little, because we're in the middle of all this talk about classified documents. What kind of classified documents could there have been? And I just thought it was interesting that this all of a sudden came out of WIO in India this week. Which I keep watching Indian news. And I stay interested in Indian news because
they're on China's fucking southern doorstep.
Yeah.
So they're going to report stuff like that, and they're not bought out by the American propaganda machine. So
right.
They're probably at least reporting news that sounds newsworthy.
Right.
But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. China's been doing it for years, man. It's like when Black & Decker built a factory in China, and a few years after they built, maybe not even a few years, honestly, it might have been just a few months, after Black& Decker built their factory in China to build all these Black& Decker products, China comes out with a weed eater called the Black Max. And the only difference between the Black & Decker weed eater and the Black Max weed eater is the Black & Decker weed eater head spins counterclockwise. The Black Max spins this way. And that is China stealing the intellectual properties of Black & Decker and creating their own products.
It is, but legally in America, with just that difference right there, you could go buy a Black & Decker, bring it home, take it apart, 3D print everything, build one that rotates the other direction to identical specs, and call it the Black Max. You can do that too.
Absolutely, but the point is
it's
that
our fault that we send everything over there to be made.
In order to do business in China, though, you have to give them your intellectual property. They've been doing this for years.
We've been doing this for years, though.
Of course, it's part of their thing, though. You know what I mean? It's part of their what they do.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for years, so it's not. If I know you're stealing the gas out of my car, to the point that I come outside while you're stealing the gas out of my car and just talk to you, like, and while you're doing it, and walk, you're not stealing the gas out of my car. I'm giving it to you.
Right.
Like, we've been doing this for years. You know, there was a guy the other day. There was a guy the other day. There was a guy the other day that came out, and he said, I love the way he put it. He said, "You want to talk? He said, he was Indian." From India. He said, "You get so high and mighty on the fact that you've dropped your carbon footprint globally." He said, "But you've outsourced all of your polluting factories to other countries. You haven't done it. You haven't reduced your carbon footprint globally. You've expanded your carbon footprint globally." He was like, "So please," he said, "China's pollution is like 30% belongs to you." He was like, "So please, get off your high horse." And I was like,
even if we went completely green and had zero carbon footprint, China and India still pollute enough for the whole fucking world.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why China doesn't grow anything. There's a reason why China doesn't have its own beef supply. They have to get their food from us and Canada. There's a reason why China's buying up farmland here in the country. Some people think it's for their global domination kind of thing, but no, they need food. Like
they did this cool project, man. I wish I had time to.
I just don't think it's the same way I think about North Korea. I think that they are a threat with the massive amounts of people that they have, the massive amounts of soldiers that they have, but they're often uneducated, often malnourished. You know, they're not really a threat as a fighting force. You know, and that's the thing. I don't see how China's military can be deemed such a threat.
Well, Chinese military did a thing a couple years ago where they took like a big section of China, and they said it was the size of like a section of China like the size of like Delaware, and it's nothing but farmland.
Yeah, and Bill Gates bought a whole bunch of it too.
The military does the farming there. It's like a military part of the military service.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Chinese government has become the world leader in agriculture. That's an interesting. There you go.
To limit the brutality of war, international humanitarian law sets limits on the use of different types of weapons. But as we can see, for example, in Russian methods of warfare, these prohibitions often are
not
not
respected. The button, I hit it all. There we go.
to all of you guys. Today we are going to show you the best farm machinery videos that you will enjoy watching. You will see these awesome farming videos for the first time. If you want more such videos to come, you can support us by...
So I guess this is in China, but it's not really giving any. It's just farming videos. Hell, they can just be propaganda. We're just going to ignore that.
Yeah.
I got to give a big shout out to Sergeant Tyler Vargas Andrews, USMC, the sniper that was questioned in front of Congress this week about the
for sure
about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. My heart is with you, sir.
Yep.
And yeah, well, you know what? We went through that a lot. Doesn't nobody remember when we were sitting on the border of Iraq and Afghanistan, and they would complain that they'd have Osama bin Laden in their sights, and the government would tell them they couldn't shoot? Like, that was a big deal.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, he literally said he had that fucking bomber in his sights.
Watched him.
Like,
well, he was a spotter.
So, I mean,
the other guy was on the.
All he had to do, if his spotter could see him choking the sniper.
Oh yeah.
They looking at the same thing.
They look at the same thing. Exactly.
That team has never been more in sync. I promise you, they looking at the same thing.
They looking at the same thing.
They both see the vein popping out of his forehead. Like, that shit looks juicy. They're like, pop that motherfucker.
Yeah. But no.
Yeah, that's
Did you listen to his interview?
No, I just watched a few minutes of the clip of where he testified. I didn't get to see the interview, though.
It wasn't a long testifying. Like, it wasn't, well, what we could watch. I'm sure it was longer, but I'm sure there was a lot of classified information. But, I mean, he kind of shot Biden in the foot with that whole interview.
At the end of the day, I mean, if you want my opinion on this whole situation, like, I don't think you need any kind of an investigation to find fault with the Afghanistan withdrawal. Because there's nothing that can come of it.
Right.
That we as in Republicans, we don't have control of the Senate. So there is that you can go through the impeachment process if you want.
Right.
And you might get him impeached.
Right.
But then the Senate won't convict. So it'll be just like Donald Trump, a waste of taxpayer money impeaching him but not removing him from office. The soldiers' deaths, the people that were left in Afghanistan, the translators that risk everything to help the U.S. Army, all of these people that were left over there, in addition to the fact that we left $75 billion in weapons over there, automatically should be automatic grounds for impeachment.
Right.
This day and age, though, it's gotten so political that it's so among party lines that Democrats, just like Republicans with Trump, Democrats would not vote to impeach him just because it makes the Democrat Party look bad.
Right.
No different than the Republicans were with Trump. There were a few Republicans
this is a problem
that thought he was guilty and were like, but, I'm not going to vote to impeach because it'll hurt the Republican Party.
Right.
There was just as many that did it back then as there are doing it now.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, the politicians that even we've elected aren't there to serve us, the American people, what's good for our country. It's about what's good for the party, what's good for them.
Right.
Like, we're just a third party trickle-down effect. And it's kind of getting old and ridiculous, bro. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or Democrat. Both sides are crooked as fuck. And it's going to come down to the fact that people are going to revolt against this government.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, I've already got a sick feeling in my stomach just from learning in the past 2 weeks what the government has done to private citizens.
Oh yeah.
Between the Twitter thing and and now hiding evidence from J6 defendants. You know, I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal.
Man, I like the part, man. Matt Taibbi getting smart ass with the lady in Congress was like the highlight of my week, man. He's like, first off, I'm not a so-called journalist. I've been a journalist for 20 years. And the beauty of this whole thing is, the part that's really kicking them in the teeth, the part they can't really get over is the fact that these are liberal journalists.
Yeah.
These men have been, Joe Rogan the other day, used to be a liberal, used to. He's always been middle of the road.
He still votes Democrat.
Yeah, he said the other day, he's like, I'll vote for Trump before Biden. He said that the other day.
Yeah, and he's
It's
not
not the
he's
Trump.
not a dummy. He sees it. He probably still is listed as a Democrat. He has democratic principles,
Well,
but
being
he's at least a clear thinking human being. He doesn't let the party influence him.
Well, I
He
do.
doesn't, and it all started with COVID. When they called him taking horse dewormer, like they put filters over his podcast,
So he looked
so
yellow.
he looked yellow and
Yeah.
shit. Like, I mean, dude, he learned. Like, I'm telling you, like, it was right around COVID when he was like, I'm gone. He left California for Texas. He was gone. And he moved to the most liberal city in Texas. He lives in Austin. So it's like, but, you know, I mean, hey, that's the thing. I don't have a problem if you vote Democrat. I don't really give a shit how you vote. You vote for how you want your country to turn out. Same as me. But, dude, when you think that I'm your enemy because of how I vote, that's when you become someone that I just don't want in my life. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Like, you think lesser of me, you think like me and my whole family should die because I voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You're the lowest piece of shit, and you need to remove yourself.
Hey, Scott.
What's up, man? I mean, like, I guess,
Yeah.
you know, that's just how I see it, man. Like, I got friends that vote Democrat all the time. I don't hate anybody. Like I said, I don't really care how you vote.
I like what Kennedy said this week. I don't hate anybody. But the Biden administration sucks.
I guess you seen where the old governor signed the religious freedom bill the other day.
Yeah.
All kinds of protests over that shit at the state capitol.
Yeah. What is that? Because I didn't really get too deep into that.
Look, basically, long story short, you can
Yeah.
look it up and get all the details if you want. Long story short is, it comes down to the gay couple that was all the way to the Supreme Court. The gay couple tried to get the Christian baker to make them a fucking wedding cake. Remember this shit? This is what it all stems from.
Okay.
As a member of the LGBTQ community, you have the rights and freedoms to live your life however you want. You do not have the right to force someone else's rights and beliefs to be trampled on because you're right. Basically, your rights don't outweigh other people's rights.
That's right. But I would assume this whole conversation.
That's what it all comes from.
I would assume this whole conversation gets packed up with the whole I have a right to reserve service to anyone.
Right. But apparently not. If you refuse service to a member of the LGBT community, you're fucking discriminating. You don't have that right. That's what this bill comes from.
Let me just be honest. I don't care how you feel about gay people. I don't care how you feel about it. If you are willing, as a business person, look, I have my feelings about the world. I'm not prejudiced against anybody. I really don't give a fuck. As long as you're cool, I'm cool.
Dude.
Having said that, for me to decide or piss off an entire sect of society so that I don't want to do business with them and I don't want their money, That's foolish. That's a lot of money.
But yeah, that's true.
That's
But if you are a Christian, you don't believe in none of that shit. And if you are serious
Right,
about your Christian
and
beliefs, you shouldn't be forced to make a
No,
cake.
you should not at all. You
You,
shouldn't
as
be
that
forced.
member of the LGBT
Right.
community, you should respect that person's right as a Christian and go to another fucking baker.
Absolutely.
That's what this boils down to.
That's both sides. Right.
That's what this boils down to. We have a Republican majority. They wanted to put that in because apparently,
There's probably a gay couple on the other side of town that makes a better cake anyway.
dude, for fucking $49, I'll make a cake with the fucking cock and balls and like the whole nine, bro. I'll make
What do
it
you
look
want?
real as fuck.
What do you want?
Right. You want me to make a cake of someone's head so you can like pretend?
I don't even.
I mean,
Whatever
dude,
you want.
we can do head cake. Let's do it. I mean, we can even get the vein on the
Put the
dick
price
and everything.
tag on it.
Fuck yeah,
bro. We'll make some money.
Right. It's all about the money.
Right. Matter of fact,
Shit.
it's not even about the art. You
But-
just challenged me.
But with that being said, you know, shit, I would reserve that right to not serve anyone in my establishment. Period. The end.
Right. I mean,
Walmart can do it too. They just don't.
dude, I
But
went
they
into
have the right
places.
to refuse service.
I went into places to get tires and just not like the attitude of the guy behind the counter. I went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I
If
have,
I got a feeling you just don't want to do the work, I assume you're going to do a job
I
on
have
the
an
work.
unwritten rule, like, and sometimes it fucks me in the long run because I have this kind of unwritten rule, dude. If I walk into a place that I've never been to before, like, if you're a person that works behind a counter of an establishment, you know your regulars, and you know when someone comes in for the first time.
Right.
You get to know your clientele. If I walk into somewhere, whether it's an oil change or tire, anything, I don't care. If I walk in and I sit there for 5 or 6 minutes, 10 minutes at the latest, without even being said hi to, I'll turn around and walk out.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're too busy to say, hey, hold on, I'll be right with you, you're too busy to get my money.
Right.
Because I'm about to drop a couple $100.
Right.
I mean, 2 new tires is $300 easy. So I'm, you know, you can at least acknowledge that I'm here and I'm about to spend money.
Right.
Like, I see that you're busy, but at least say I
If
see
nothing
you.
else, realize Ben Franklin just walked in the door and say hi to Ben. Hey, Ben.
Just recognize that I see you and I'll be there in 1 second. I see you. I want your money, but give me just a second.
I'm the same way. Like I said, if I walk in, I don't like the vibe somewhere. I'll
Yeah.
leave.
No.
I went to KFC last week.
Oh, you didn't
I
get
walked
much.
up to the counter, and the guy at the window over there looked over at me, and this guy in the back looked right at me and went back to what he was doing. And I gave it about 30 seconds left. So fuck this. I could just see.
Look, let me be the first
If
one.
you do make my chicken sandwich, you're
Probably
going to slap it together and throw it at me. So
Probably not the first one, but at least the first one that I know of. I'm gonna go ahead and be the first one to say it. Piggly Wiggly chicken is far superior than anything KFC has ever made in the history of its business. If you don't have some Piggly Wiggly chicken, you are missing out, bro. I don't know what they do. It might be fried in yesterday's oil. I don't know what their magic is. But that shit is freaking delicious, dude. And you can get 3 pieces with the mashed potatoes and gravy and the biscuit and the whole 9 for like $6.
So who out there wants to talk about January 6th? And let's dive into this. Yeah, you're fucking. I don't like talking about deli food because I start thinking about B&B.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good days gone.
See, that's the old school shit that just ain't around anymore.
Top
Like,
Spot. Let me get a hold of Top Spot's building. And we'll give all y'all cholesterol.
It's going up for auction.
I know, next month.
Yeah. Can't buy it. They've already.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, since you brought it up, might as well get it started. I
Well-
mean, dude, let's be real. From my perspective, like it looks like January 6th was a whole bunch of nothing that really got blown out of proportion.
All right,
And it skewed in a certain direction.
Let me give my.
But before you get into your part, let me at least say that there's an asterisk beside what I'm saying. Yes, it got blown out of proportion. Yes, I understand people got hurt and people did die. Not on that day. People did die.
People did die yesterday.
A couple people took their own life. But people were injured, people died. You know, if you're not talking about anybody else but Ashley Babbitt. You know what I mean? I'm not saying she was innocent because she was crawling through a window when she got shot. But let's just say, you know, that sucks. People died. I get it. But this shit was definitely overplayed.
Okay, so
go ahead and say what you were talking about.
If you have any questions while I go, you ask, because you'll catch things, maybe not. It's not as going to be long and deep, but it's interesting because I never really put a lot of thought into it until really recently. I started like going back into my memory bank of myself and thinking about things and rewatching videos. And so first thing you got to know is, and nobody says this because all the violence was highlighted, so nobody wants to come out and admit they were on any level ready for violence on January 6th, right? But first thing you have to know, restaurants were closed. No public restrooms were open anywhere except for in the subways. There was like 1 or 2 restaurants open, but you couldn't use their bathrooms unless you were eating there, and the line there was really long because there was nowhere really open. They had shut down the city. Okay, some of the hotels were shut down. They just weren't allowing any guests, and still 4 million people showed up.
A lot of those hotels were booked.
A lot of them were fully booked.
Yeah.
Some of them weren't accepting any guests. Some of them were closed. I overheard a couple conversations where people were like, "I tried to stay here, but they said that they weren't allowing guests." They were kind of like, "What are you coming into town for?" "Oh, no, we're not." You know, so like there was already bias in DC. Okay. Second thing you have to remember: rumors all over Facebook before we went up there that there was going to be Antifa presence. You know, if you're going to come up here, you should be aware that you could be assaulted or attacked by protesters.
That should be a given.
Okay, things like that. So when you see January 6 people walking around in like their half-assed little, now we're talking the light ones. You notice when you see the picture of me, I got goggles and I got a scarf on and I carried a cane. Right, I just like having a walking stick. But B, you know, if they're going to run up and start spraying people with tear gas and attacking them, I'm going to be a little bit somewhat ready because I've seen what goes on in other videos when Antifa shows up, and a lot of people were. So a lot of the people who were here and at this, younger people were actually there under the assumption that there's probably going to be a fight with protesters. And you'll see people that have little, their little gear with them. Because if I told you, hey, we're going to go down to the gas station, there's some guys there that don't like me, but we got to get gas, would you take your ball bat too? Yeah. You go prepared. I'm still going to go. You're not going to scare us. You're not going to scare us all from not coming to Washington, D.C. because you said Antifa might be there protesting. Because that's just making us want to come more. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, so let's get into this here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But, at the same time, a few points about that. Like, I feel like those hotel rooms were booked long before any of this. There's a reason why they were sold out.
Yeah. Well, that's true too.
As soon as Donald Trump lost that election, officially, when they announced what was the first part of December, when they officially announced that he had lost, those rooms were getting booked up.
Right.
There were people that flew from Phoenix, Arizona, these people flew in. So you know they had hotel rooms.
Right, right. So, that's what I'm saying. This was a long planned event.
Yeah, it wasn't something that happened overnight.
No.
Like a spur of the moment thing.
I mean, see back here, there's giant flags and flyers. There was decor. You know what I mean? Like, there was decor. You know, does this look like an angry mom? Look at this dude's face. Come on, you see the guy in the green flannel? Does he look like he's there angry mobbing? Does he look angry mobbing? Do any of these people look like this lady here? Just look in the blue navy hood. Just looks like she's fucking tired, man. Like these people are not mobbing. Like,
and you know, I mean. But that's neither here nor
now
there.
here's something interesting, and there was a lot of these here. See these ladies? They got these Stop the CCP, and they're talking about genocide in China. And they were all over the place. And I'll show you something interesting in video, because there was a whole lot of anti-CCP, anti-communist people there. And like, there's like a line, and sadly I only got like 30 seconds of footage of them. But it was a solid 3 to 4 minutes they were walking by before I was like, well, fuck, I should film this.
Right.
You know what I mean? See, like, it was a whole vibe. Like, it was very calm. My experience, people were in the trees. Like they were coming to see Jesus.
Right.
They were in the trees, man. But I mean, peaceful. And it was like Bonnaroo. It was a peaceful vibe. There's the noose in the background that everybody talks about. Now, my dumb ass didn't take any pictures of it and didn't think about it. But it actually had a sign on it that said artwork by, and it had a name on it. And then it said something about this artwork protected by the Department of Capitol Police or DC Police or something like that. Destruction of this is punishable by, like, there was a sign on the fucking thing talking about this is a piece of art and destruction of this is punishable by so much, like, so. But then you see it on TV when the liberals talk about it, and they talk about it like we brought it up there and put it up.
Right.
That shit was already there. For some reason, that with a little orange rope on it was a displayed artwork that was protected by law.
Dude, that's just the kind of shit that you can't really explain.
Yeah. But like, you see this kid, you know, this guy, he's odd. You know, he's got a mask on. COVID wasn't, you know, a concern up there. Nobody was really wearing masks. He's got his little tack vest. This guy has his gloves, you know. But like I said, a lot of people were expecting Antifa riots. And then you got this guy here. I don't know if you see him. It's kind of dark. But that guy's standing right here behind me. Now see, that shit's odd. He's in full tight gear with a black mask on, like he came to fight. Like, see, that wasn't the vibe of the place. He stuck out. He was weird from everybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, not like, and you can notice these people in the crowd. You'd be like, why is that guy dressed like he's here for war? People would actually see people like that and kind of assume they were Antifa. Like, you'd hear people, hey, who are you here with? Like, you know. I mean, look. I feel like this picture shows the vibe prior to the Capitol. Right here. Perfectly. That's me smoking a blunt, walking down the street. Like, look, just walking.
Yeah, it's legal in D.C.
Yeah, it's legal in D.C., but that was the vibe. Like, we weren't marching. We weren't chanting. We were calmly walking over to the Capitol for the next portion of the event.
Look, it wasn't.
Look, that's how many people were there.
Well, like, I don't remember the exact time and shit, but, you know, Donald Trump didn't speak until after noon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After 12 o'clock. So
Yeah.
there was a whole day that led up. And then Donald Trump spoke for an hour or so. And then right at the end of his speech is when shit really hit the fan. I mean, you're talking 2 hours out of a whole day.
After his speech,
Yeah.
is when everybody started.
But they got side-by-side footage, and I don't have any of it on here, but I've seen it before. Side-by-side footage that this group that looks like the Proud Boys are headed to the Capitol long before Donald Trump gets done speaking.
Right.
Like 20 minutes. He has 20 minutes left in his speech. And there's already a sect of people heading towards the Capitol.
Right.
So, however it plays out.
So, like, okay, so now we're I messed up. So now we're jumping a little bit of time here. So when I got off, because those were photos. When I got off the fucking subway, right?
At what point did you leave? Like, when did you know there was some shit going down and you were out?
I got tear gassed a couple times, not even being that close to the Capitol. And then this guy came by and he said they're in the Capitol. And somebody came by and said that somebody had been shot.
So you were still way back, like where Donald Trump gave his speech.
No. I was up on the Capitol lawn. But I wasn't up in the Capitol. Everything I'm about to show you is from that little wall back. Like, I never got past that wall. Never went past it. I did jump down off the wall and grab a girl that got tear gassed and yank her over the wall and take her down into the grass to get her out of the gas. But I mean, like, other than that, dude, no. I didn't get too close. That was FBI, not Proud Boys, you know? I believe that.
Yeah,
So-
like I said, that's why I said that, you know, they were dressed similarly to the Proud Boy. The way that looked,
Right,
that, you know, Proud Boys had a pretty distinct look.
right.
You know what I mean? With the yellow and the fucking, like, jean jacket kind of thing or whatever it was. You know
Right.
what I
Well,
mean?
it turns out that we keep getting these incidents. You know, oddly enough, without going into details, you know, Scott understands this conversation. You know, we keep having these incidents, man, where like the governor that got kidnapped in Michigan.
Well, planned. She didn't get kidnapped.
There were 3 FBI agents and 2 guys.
Yeah. At what point does it
That's
become? That's a fucking plan by the FBI.
to get these guys.
Sounds like the
Or
FBI
something.
were the smartest people in that room.
Yeah, there was 3 FBI. That's not a bust. That's a setup. You outnumber the people you're busting. You know, and Proud Boys, they've proven there were FBI agents in there. Whitmire, 6 agents, not 3. Yeah, 6 agents. You sent 6 agents to talk 2 dudes into doing something and then charge them with the crime.
Yeah, bro.
That shouldn't be how that works. So, I mean, again, I'll say it again,
Dude, that's
and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If there was one FBI agent on the ground, if Ray Epps, hypothetically, was an FBI agent, or the guy that was ripping the window out in that other video was a federal agent, if there was one FBI agent on the ground inciting or helping citizens get into the Capitol, then it was a fucking tour.
Well, let me piggyback off of that and say that if there was one FBI agent in that crowd, there was 50.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one.
It was just one.
This was a fucking plan.
This was a plan.
And whether or not we'll actually ever know And I don't really think we'll ever actually know.
And I mean, okay.
Until we have full capabilities of, like, if we can keep the House and add the Senate
right
next time, and we actually have full government control, then you can start seeing people get punished. So because you can't impeach anybody, and you can't do anything with the other half of the Senate being controlled.
When I first got off the subway, we're going to have a little echo because we're about to have sound. When I first got off the subway, this was the first thing I heard.
So that you don't have to be rejected by the Lord. Jesus went into hell so that you can go to heaven.
Yeah, I messed that up, didn't I? Let's try that again. Here. When I first got off, here's the first thing I seen.
So that you don't have to be rejected, but you can be accepted by the Lord. Jesus went into hell so that you can go to heaven.
That's the first thing I seen. And like the vibe there was just docile as shit. And then we walk over to the Capitol. Wow. You know, like I said, they walked by for 4 minutes. So then we go over to the Capitol. Notice how everybody's so quiet and docile? And then all of a sudden this starts happening. This is where it gets interesting. It's hard to see. If you look up here, right about here, you see the first two that go off. See it?
Ooh, I got that one. I got that one.
You see up here? Up here's the guy with the megaphone. He's up here on that. Alright, and then starts, what I'm saying is, there's a slim possibility the crowd was calm, and then they started shooting tear gas and flashbangs into the crowd. And that caused the crowd to move forward, just like cows would. If you shot a gun behind a bunch of cows in a corral, they're going to push forward.
Yeah.
So then start the flashbangs.
See the guy up there with the flashbang gun? He's shooting flashbangs into the crowd.
I have a video that you can't really see it clearly, so I didn't put it on, but I'm telling you, it shows a flashbang going off next to a guy's head.
Damn.
Yeah, like they're just shooting them out straight into the crowd. And that's when we end up taking the steps. Before that happened was the guy. Yeah. So then, oh, okay, good.
Go ahead, you can keep talking.
So then, while all this was going on, when the flashbangs are going off, all of a sudden you look up at the top of the white paper. Now, the white paper was actually scaffolding. Not scaffolding, but bleachers. This is what's going to get your attention. Now, very up on top of here, up top when it goes up, right up here, on top of the right, there's a guy with a flag, waving the flag. Now, after him, after the guy with the flag waves it, then, after you see the guy this guy just magically shows up atop of the Capitol like he was a protester that got away, and he's waving a flag, and then all of a sudden the paper, that's okay because I'm going to the next video, okay. And then all of a sudden the paper rips open to the bleachers, and now all of a sudden instead of that paper around the Capitol, there's bleachers. And then people start filling them. And next thing you know,
how many Masato are just trying to keep their attention? We have taken the capital steps.
I'm just saying, dude. Like that's like.
But yeah, I see your point, though. I see what perception is a big thing. Perception is definitely a big thing. But yeah, it was decorated for the inauguration, not for y'all. But I can see that. I mean, like, look, y'all decorated for us. That was nice.
And then covered it up. And then you let us come in here and tear it down like gift wrap. And now you're gonna put us on the news like we did something fucking wrong. But no, like the crowd was not excitable until all of a sudden they started launching fucking tear gas and flashbangs into.
Look, I mean, you can.
And then
you can sit there and you can. I'm sure you can find all the numbers if you really want to dig into it, dude. There was. Let's just throw a number out there and say there was 20,000. Let's just say there's 20,000. 20,000 people there that day. 400 of them is all you can arrest. It's less than 400. So you cannot classify January 6th as that bad.
Right.
And you only arrested, that's a small percentage of the actual people that were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yes, of course there were people that broke windows.
Yeah, but John, who was passing all the batons out the window before the crowd had made it inside?
Right, I mean, but...
Like, there's a video with somebody screaming, "That's Antifa, that's Antifa, stop them."
The thing is, you gotta look at all the other shit that went down that day that you're just now learning about.
Oh,
you know, the phone call with Nancy Pelosi. Like, they can't come to, this is our capital. They can't come here like this is our, no, bitch, this is not yours.
A comment about we got to show them who's in charge.
Yeah, we got to show them who's in charge. No, this is not your capital. You
You're
just
not
fucking
in
work
charge.
here, bro. Fuck out of here with that shit.
We gave you that job.
And all the shit with AOC and that back and forth with AOC and Nancy.
Right.
You know, about we got to show them who's in charge here, and like AOC said that shit too, and dude, like, and then the government withholding evidence from J6 defendants, and dude, the government is looking worse and worse at this, and now it looks like whatever they're fucking doing is multiple. Whether they're big banks or not, I don't know if you call them big banks or not, but multiple banks are fucking crashing and shit.
Oh, we're in big trouble real soon.
Dude, it does not look good.
Like I said, we've reached a point where the government can choose to classify information that would defend you, which is a pretty big fucking deal. So, I mean, this is just on all levels politically scary as fuck. I'll tell you what, old Steve Sund kind of threw Nancy Pelosi under the bus, though. He was the Capitol Police Chief. He was never questioned by the January 6th committee. Never. They never asked that man a single fucking question, because he's the one that tried to call for help from the National Guard, and they wouldn't fucking answer it. Excuse my French, I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing.
Like,
That's the thing that we're just now learning about that we should have known that day. You know, or we should have known weeks ago, months ago. You should have known this already. You know, it's a separation of powers thing.
Right.
It's not a political thing. You know, Donald Trump asked Nancy Pelosi to get the National Guard here days before January 6th.
Yeah.
She denied that request. And when you think about that, you're like, how does she get to deny that request? Donald Trump is the president at that time. He is a member of the executive branch. Nancy Pelosi is in the legislative branch. The executive branch cannot tell the legislative branch what to do.
Now,
and she is in charge of Capitol Hill. Legislative branch is in charge of Capitol Hill. The executive branch is in charge of the White House. You cannot order the National Guard to that building without Nancy Pelosi's approval.
And apparently somebody in his cabinet had a conversation with the police chief days before January 6th and said, "Do you want National Guard?" And the man said, "I do." But Pelosi won't okay it.
So
she already knew. She already knew that see, here's the thing. She already knew because the left has buddies in the FBI who she knew were going to pull off January 6th. That's why. She intended for this to happen just like this. She only needed 4 idiots. She needed to find 4 idiots in that crowd of 2 million. 4. She found them. She found them. One guy with a fucking gun that went to her office. One guy, she found her 4 idiots and the 50 people that would follow them. That's all she needed.
Yeah.
That's all she needed.
Absolutely right. And that's the fucking sad thing, man. You know what I mean? When it's come to this point where...
Again, the guy with the pipe bomb. You know how I know they're full of shit? Because this is what he does. He sits down and does this. He's got his bag. He plants a pipe bomb. And he plays with his phone. You found how many people on the day of January 6th because of their phone locations being at the Capitol, but you can't find that one weird phone that was there at 2 o'clock in the morning by itself? But guys,
we talked about this like last week or week before.
Yeah, but it's
the left will have you believe that that's how they tracked January 6th. Participants was through their phone, through the fucking geo whatever it's called, geolocation or whatever. But then fucking Dinesh D'Souza uses the same technology, and that shit's inaccurate, and you can't really trust that shit. But for January 6th, that shit was trustworthy.
Even though you got them on camera and location at the same time with a handful of ballots.
You got the one geolocation, the one cell phone that stopped at 17 ballot boxes. Really?
And you got them on camera.
Really? That's just a coincidence.
Coincidence. Like the trains that keep wrecking.
It's kind of like that fucking crazy ass Secretary of State, out there in Nevada. She just forgot.
I forgot.
Just forgot to hire people to count the votes.
No big deal.
They
I forgot.
Just sit here. Just let it sit here. Man, that's insane. But I think at the end of the day, man, that's going to be big. I don't really give a shit about the investigation into Afghanistan. That shit was a...
You don't have to investigate that.
You're wasting time. Because you can't impeach anybody that's in charge. You can't do shit about it. You know what I mean? That was Biden's plan. None of his generals, and all of his generals are some left-leaning fucking woke motherfuckers. And none of his generals gave him that plan.
No.
He was like, fuck it. Let's bounce.
But sir, nope, get in the car. But sir, nope, we're going.
Look, you either get in the car or you're going to stay here. Okay.
Where's my wife? She's in the bathroom, sir. Why did you tell me? We left. Look, man, I will always throw this out there. I always have to throw this out there for the left. Because, you know, the left, they love their animals. They love their animals. Like, every time, like, somebody with blue hair walks up, you can hear Sarah McLachlan playing in the background. They love their animals. And I just always like to remind people, he left the dogs on the tarmac in their kennels in the middle of the desert. A special forces team from Germany snuck in there in the middle of the night and pulled a special mission operations rescue to save the dogs that Joe Biden left behind on the tarmac in the kennels. In a Islamic country where they're just going to beat them to death with sticks, they don't have pets. They don't do dogs. They don't, like...
It's just another mouth to feed.
Yeah. Yeah. He just so... I digress.
Like I said, you can't really hold anybody accountable in that way. Because the only way to hold anybody accountable is via impeachment. And that's null and void. You can't accomplish that mission.
Could you put that on a list? Can you impeach for a list of reasons?
I feel like that Afghanistan investigation is just pointless. There's no reason to investigate.
No.
But
we need to investigate
this J6, you know, all the other shit with the fucking Hunter Biden laptop and all the ties to China, all that shit. Yeah, I want to hear all about that shit. I want to hear all about that shit. Because I do believe that Joe Biden is bought and paid for.
Absolutely.
And I'm not even going to say by who. But somebody has paid that man. And he is an overall just a bumbling idiot, man. Like, I just...
Do you believe that Obama's in charge with a microphone in the
Absolutely
basement?
not. Absolutely.
I question sometimes.
Dude,
I question
let me go ahead and be very clear when I say this. Like, if that were the case, Joe Biden wouldn't be bumbling like that. Fucking Obama was a silver-tongued motherfucker. He could speak, son. He could rally the fucking troops. Obama, and all his faults, man. He was a fucking speaker,
he
bro.
fucking was.
He was like preaching the sermon. Like, he had the crowd hype.
Got it.
I mean,
you're there.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, I can't hate on that motherfucker. Dude, I mean, you can't hate on him for that. That man was a speaker.
So this is Congressman Paul Gosar today. Hang on a minute.
So, you were talking about Nancy Pelosi. If you guys were to look into Nancy Pelosi's ties to January 6th, what they're calling an insurrection, you know, they're standing by their narrative everywhere they go. Same with Liz Cheney. Is there a chance that you guys could prosecute certain members of Congress or former members of Congress over the January 6th?
I would not leave it at just that. I think there's also military that are involved. And I think that heads have to roll. Otherwise, you condone this lawlessness. And that's what America sees. We see lawlessness in Chicago. We see lawlessness on our border. We see lawlessness everywhere. And that's part of the precipitating actions that Congress is allowed.
Right. So are you looking into any inquiries, resolutions of inquiries into Mark Milley or Mayorkas over their handling of our national security?
Stay tuned.
There's stuff going on in our government.
Yeah.
You know, to quote the old to quote the Dark Crystal, there is hope.
Dude, and you know, like,
but is there hope? Because I mean, do you know they got a backup?
You need to go
plan.
research this other. His name slips my fucking mind. I don't know why I can't say this dude's name, but he's running for president against Trump.
DeSantis?
Nope. Vivek Ramaswamy or something.
I haven't seen him yet.
Bro.
Dude.
This motherfucker says on day one, all from the very top, all the way from Christopher Wray, all the way down to the secretary, every fucking one of you are fired. Every one of you have the right to reapply. But every fucking one of you are fired. The FBI gets fucking cleaned house. Starting from the very top to the very fucking bottom. Every one of them got to go.
Wow. I mean,
the whole
that's
fucking
the only way to
system's
fix
corrupt.
it. It's the only way to
He
fix
said
it.
the IRS has to be abolished. He wants a 30% sales tax. No more income tax. No more car taxes. No more fucking bullshit taxes. Just a flat 30% sales tax on everything you buy.
That's a lot, though.
It is high. But how many other taxes do we pay right now?
That's true.
Dude, I pay $350 a year for a little sticker on my license plate. I pay a lot of fucking taxes, bro.
Okay.
I mean,
we would have to. I would have to hear some real. I don't have any professionals to call.
But
so I would have to hear some economists really dig into this.
The Department of Education, gone.
Yeah, which shouldn't
Gone.
exist anyway.
It shouldn't exist, and it doesn't need to be there.
No.
That's a state rights thing.
100%.
100%. And I'm like, dude, you're talking a whole bunch of sense right now. Like, you're talking.
And that's how Trump got in office. He came out the blue talking a whole bunch of sense.
Yeah. You should go check him out. He did an interview with.
I like Tucker Carlson said today. I was listening to him, and they said, "What got you defending Trump? Because he doesn't really like Donald Trump." And he said, "For me, it was when he said, why are we funding the UN or why are we funding NATO?" And he said, he was like, it's a silly thing. He said, but then he said, I was eating dinner and I was thinking, that was a Cold War thing. Like they were supposed to. They agreed when Warsaw broke up that they were going to do away with NATO. Like it was supposed to not be. It was supposed to be abolished decades ago. Why are we still funding NATO? And why is NATO great? And he said, so I was talking to my neighbors and they were all kill Trump. Trump's got to die. And he said, but why are we funding NATO? And he's like, they're all like, shut up. But he's like, But okay, I feel your point, but really, why are we still funding NATO? And he said, they just get madder. And he was like, and it really put me on a path. Like, and I'm very much like that. Like that guy I was arguing with the other night. He said, religion should be abolished from government. And I was like, do you mean all religion or Christianity? And he said, all religion. I said, okay, so no more Luciferian statues, no Qurans, no Bibles, no Buddhas, no Shivas. And he said, yeah. And I was like, it sounds good in practice, but the only countries that works in is China and North Korea. I said, and North Vietnam. I said, every country is based, because it's history, it's roots. If nothing else, you find your cultural roots in your religion. And every country has its cultural roots. And its government has to stick to its cultural roots in order to exist. Therefore, there's usually a religion, whether it's Buddhist or Hindu. India's got a Hindu-based government. Islam, nobody likes to talk about Sharia law, but it's a religious-based government. Which of the 10 Commandments do you feel like should be completely legal?
I mean, there's a couple of them.
I mean, if you're going to base your government off of anything, the basic societal laws of Christianity aren't the most horrific.
The thing is, though, all the examples that you gave are, okay examples. I get it. Yeah, China, North Korea, yeah, Islam, yeah, they all, I get that. But what you don't have is everyone that's Islamic is Islamic. Everyone that's in North Korea is North Korean. Everyone that's in China is Chinese. I mean, you got a few a few thousand here and there Americans that are teaching English in China. You got your white people, your
Trade you
black
some
people.
rice if you
Yeah,
get
you got
saved.
all that shit, but the majority is Chinese people. I mean, here in America, we are a melting pot. And if the government is here to serve all people, you can't have a government based in any one religion. That's just how it has to be. You can be as religious as you want on Sunday morning with your family. But you can't say you're not going to issue me a marriage certificate because of your religion is against homosexual marriages.
Oh, no,
You're not allowed to do that.
No.
You cannot use your religion
Well, we have
in a
freedom
government
of
role.
religion, though. I mean, we covered that.
Right, but we've
Now,
also seen...
I know it was originally written differently, but
we've also seen instances where people use their government power to deny other people's civil liberties based on their principles of their religion.
Right.
So I'm a firm believer that you can base your government on anything, but at the end of the day, if you're going to be a government that serves all people, you cannot have a government rooted in any one religion.
Right.
And let's be honest.
But you can't have one rooted in
Religion,
several either, though, because they're
as
not
a
going
grown man who thinks clearly, religion is really just another control mechanism. Like, there are people out there that actually believe that you can't be a good person unless you're religious.
Right.
I don't need religion for me to be a moral good person.
Right.
So I don't believe in that shit.
Well, I mean, we're getting into the discussion of finding good Christians is a whole other week.
It still doesn't matter.
Because I mean, like,
it doesn't matter. The only time your religion should come into play is if I ask you.
Right.
Hey man, you're like one of those Christian people, right? I mean, you probably read the Bible. Like, I got a question for you. That's the only time it should come up.
Right.
I don't give a shit. If you choose to follow a religion and you believe that all the stories that you've been told as a kid, then by all means, live your life that way. Just like if you want to be gay or live your life however you want. It's the way I see it. I don't think our government should be rooted in any one religion. Yes, we were founded on Christian principles because we are a Christian nation. But let's be 100% honest. The day that we started going against the Bible, many, many years ago, not with homosexuality, many years ago, when we started going against the Bible.
Right. Well, that's
we started venturing away from our Christian principles. We're not a Christian nation anymore. We shouldn't be. You can choose to worship whoever you want. But when I go down to get my fishing license, I shouldn't have to hear a word about your fucking religion.
And you
I
don't.
don't give a shit.
And you don't.
And you don't. I've never had a religious conversation while I'm paying my taxes. I've never had a conversation about someone's homosexuality while I'm fucking.
Well, that's because
like,
this goes back to the conversation though. Like, our founding fathers lived differently, had different hearts, were different kind of men, had different ideals, lived different in a different time and lived a different life, and they were very, very, very actual. And I'm not even talking about witch burning Puritan weird. Like, they were actual normal ass Christian men who were Masons and trying to do other stuff. But like, the people who built this country seen the ideals differently than we do today.
Right. But do you know what the average age of our founding fathers was?
Like 18, 17?
No, the average age. It was like 35.
35, yeah.
I mean, because Ben Franklin was like fucking dirt. This motherfucker was 74 when he signed it, or whatever. 74.
That's a tough motherfucker to live
But
that long back
what was it? John
Hancock?
Madison?
John Hancock was like
There was a Madison.
Madison. Yeah, John
Steve-
Madison.
John Madison?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Sounds weird. But John Madison was like 45. John Hancock was like 21. What's
One
the
of them
dude-
was like 17.
What's the dude that said that they're coming by sea? Paul Revere?
Ages of people who
Yeah.
signed the Constitution.
Paul Revere was like 19. I know he didn't sign the Constitution or nothing, but dude, he was like 19 when that assault went down or whatever it was.
Yeah. The ride of Paul Revere.
Sam Adams, I think he was like 21 or 22. Like there was a lot of young ones, man.
Oh yeah, and they were fresh out of a war. That's
like-
why it says. That's why it's like if the government acts up again, just fucking shoot
Yeah,
them.
you know what? We should let everybody have guns. Dude, that's a fucking great idea. I'm
Okay.
sure.
Ages of the founding fathers on July 4th of 1776. James Monroe, 18. Aaron Burr, 20. Alexander Hamilton, 21. James Madison, 25. Thomas Jefferson, 33. John Adams was 40.
John Adams.
Paul Revere was 41. And GW himself was 44. Fuck the Brits.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
These were young cats that was like actively fighting for their country.
These
These weren't no
motherfuckers
old
just-
fuckers.
These motherfuckers just got done putting fucking meat to metal. Like,
Right. Right. We just did this shit, bro.
That's young, dude. That's the guys who signed.
But because we use the word founding father,
it's like the age of
It's
the
like-
Red Dawn cast. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
ain't no clue.
You know what I mean? They just knew that they were tired of being ruled the way that they were being ruled. And we're like, fuck that shit.
Right,
You know what I mean? So,
right. Over some taxes.
over a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
Especially without representation. Because they lived under colonial rule. Like, you did what the fuck you were told. And you paid a lot of taxes. They were like, fuck this shit.
They did the Tea Party, and then America was like, you know, we don't really like tea that much.
Yeah,
We like
we
coffee.
kind of coffee. We're kind
We're
of coffee
kind
people.
of coffee
Like, so
people,
fuck
man.
the
I
tea,
mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Sorry about
But
that.
yeah, dude, like it's really you're either going to see the results of the next year and a half in investigations by the House. You're either going to see potentially a massive wave of new young Republicans coming and getting elected. Because let's be real, Nancy Pelosi's old as shit. Her seat's coming up for re-election.
He's done.
Even though she's in a super blue area. Mitch McConnell, 81 years old. He's close to being done. Lindsey Graham, 77, 80 he's damn near 80 years old. I mean, there's all these old motherfuckers that are out there that are going to get replaced by new, younger.
Yeah, do you think that's why they're pushing so
Republicans.
hard, so fast, trying to get us into globalism? Because they know even
You wanna,
their age range is putting
But you-
them in danger of,
you want to know something that's interesting?
huh?
That you're going to see that you should keep an eye out towards the end of this year? You know who's coming after Joe Manchin this year?
Who?
Or not this year, 2024.
Who?
Joe Manchin's up for re-election. Jim Justice. Jim Justice can't be the governor no more. He's done his 8 years.
Right.
So he's coming after Joe Manchin's seat. Jim Justice is a Republican. So, dude, if he wins that seat as a Republican, that flips one seat in the House, in the Senate. That's one seat that flips in the Senate right there.
Right.
Telling you, you gotta watch for that.
I the upcoming West Virginia race, I'm excited to watch anyway.
Joe Manchin could either
There's some no names in there too.
He could either A, lose re-election, or B, he could run for president and resign his seat.
I heard a rumor about him running for president. I can see him. Don't waste your money, Joe. I mean, let's be honest. I agree with you on some things. I disagree with you on other things. Sometimes I cuss you out, and no, I'm not going to cut you a fresh fucking steak off a ribeye. But dude, yeah, that's not your race. Not this year. Not no. This is as they said in the last race, a historic race coming up. I don't feel like this is the ring to waste your money putting a hat in. I'm not saying you couldn't win next race or race after that. Like, there might not be like a power vacuum where you could. But this one?
No, but.
When it's Trump, DeSantis, maybe a Kennedy. Dude, just set this one the fuck out.
The thing is, what you're going to see in the next 18 months, and you've already started to see it in the past 10 months, really. Because Joe Manchin's not stupid.
I know he's not stupid.
He knows what the fuck he's doing. That's the reason why you've seen Joe Manchin go against everything Joe Biden's done in the past 6 months or so.
I was hoping it's just because
and it's going to continue.
Found a little bag of common sense.
It's going to continue. No, not at all. Re-election's coming. And he's in a red state. He's the only speck of blue in a red state. Like, he's the last remaining, like, dude, can you even see that hole right there? Like, that's how much blue we have left in the state, bro.
Just that minute he met me a few weeks ago I think I probably put things into perspective for him. Why don't you go back there and cut me open a ribeye, cut me off 2 fresh steaks about 1.25 inches thick? No, sir.
I'll tell you what you can do. You can have your aides go down to Johnny's Meat Market, and they will gladly do that for you.
I said, I'll sell you a whole ribeye. You can take it home and cut them fresh yourself.
How much fresher can you get, Joe? You take them back to your house.
I don't even want to tell you, like, my dad loved you. You loved my dad. You were good friends with my old man. I'm not even going to bring that shit up. Fuck you, Joe.
Dude, how out of touch do you have to be as a senator who lives on a fucking boat in a landlocked state? Do you not know the perception that you give off with that shit, bro?
Those secondhand lines, bro.
You're a fucking bougie little bitch, aren't you, motherfucker? Do you even live in West Virginia?
I seen your place you live in. It reminded me of secondhand lines. The big yard and the little lake.
Dude, when I watched that fucking exchange between him and the fat dude on the fucking kayak, I about fucking lost it. Because this shit is hilarious. Dude, he's standing, he's up this high, and the little fat dude in the kayak is like, you know, you're something polluting the environment with your big old boat. And Joe's like he just pretends like he can't hear it. It's so fucking funny, dude. And I'm like, man, you just look like a pretentious piece of shit standing up on top of your boat. You know, bro, if you're a fucking senator from any other state that has a fucking ocean or a beach or something like that, yeah, I get it. But live on a boat. Bro, but you're from West Virginia. You're from West Virginia.
I could afford a yacht and just live on Summersville Lake the rest of my life. I'd do it. Rent free. You can't charge me to live on the lake.
No, I mean, they charge you to fucking rent a slip. That's the only way if you wanted to dock. That's the only way they would charge you.
Get a dinghy.
Yeah, dude, fucking, the Channel 13 News.
Yeah.
Brian Hughes, the weatherman.
Yeah.
He lives on a stern wheeler off in the Canal River.
Yeah.
He just fucking had like foot surgery, so he can't walk. So he's been doing the weather forecast from his boat for like the past 2 weeks. So he just wakes up and throws on a suit and tie. And he's sitting there in his fucking boxers probably, doing the fucking weather. But yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? But dude, he probably makes pretty good money, and it's not like he's, you know, not going back and forth to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Dude, you're in a houseboat and you can't even take that boat and come home. You got to get off that boat and get on a car or a plane or something to get home. You can't take that boat. Where the fuck you going?
Right.
You just live in D.C. on a boat?
You know, I think that's a big problem though. You know, this is what kills me about the hatred of Donald Trump. Let's take away all the descriptions of the man, the fact he shouldn't never tweet. Let's level out all the golden idol bullshit. And just, you know, we complain about politicians. Dirty, out of touch, corrupt politicians. Lifelong elite, bought out politicians. Finally, a motherfucker comes along that's never been in politics in his life. Is like, I see shit wrong. I've been looking at it from the outside for a long time, and I think I can fix it. And they're like, well, you're not a politician. We're not voting for you.
But you're not in the good old boys club.
But I mean, people like the voters, like the left voters. Like you think after years and years, how fast did you notice the left flip from "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me" to an anti-establishment, non-conformity to you got to do what the government says, man. It's for your best benefit. How fast? That was the left. Remember Daria?
Yeah.
The cartoon Daria? God, I hated that show. But was she not old school left? Fuck the establishment. I won't conform. I'm not going to fall in line with your values and beliefs, and I'm not going to do the things that you think I need to do just because you say I need to do them. And how fast did it turn into the government said we need to do this? Yeah, we got our new channel. You got to like and subscribe. Yeah, like and subscribe. That's a good reminder for everybody.
Oh, I thought she got the link. Did she not get the link to the new
I
channel?
sent her one earlier today. I guess she went to the old channel and was looking for us.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're here now.
Yeah, now you're here and you catch our little short videos we throw up.
Yeah.
I think Scott left.
Yeah, probably. We've been on for
an hour and a half
or so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's hard to sit around. People don't have a lot of time. I get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll bullshit forever.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
The burps. You missed all about my January 6th, Christy. You're gonna have to back watch it.
Yep. Yeah,
Dude, what's
it's a little
up?
Late, but,
Yeah, it is. It's late. We were actually.
it's not late. It's just, you know.
What time is it?
9 o'clock. When you work a 12-hour day, anything over that is
Yeah, you worked 12 today.
Yep. And tomorrow and the next day. Till Thursday anyway.
Yeah. So what's been on with you guys this week? Any quick subjects we can touch on?
Glad you guys made it.
Always. The bank spice. All the news with the bank.
Yeah.
They swear that our banking's not collapsing. They promise.
Well, I mean, you know, like
The more they promise, the more I question.
the thing is though, it's like this specific sector. You know, and it's all because they're raising interest rates. You know what I mean? And it makes this particular bank what was it? The Silicon Valley Bank. They specifically loaned money for tech startups. You know what I mean? And that's a high risk, high reward kind of thing. But with these loan rates getting shot through the roof, these interest rates through the roof, people aren't taking out loans. And when people aren't taking out loans,
you can't tell me
banks,
the tech industry ain't booming. Because I seen the robots that we sent to Ukraine yesterday, and let me tell you,
they're not booming. It's not that they're not booming. It's like tech startups. These are people saying, hey, I got a good idea. Can I get $100,000? It may or may not work, though. You know what I'm saying? These aren't established robot companies, bro. These are, this particular bank was loaning people really, really high risk loans. And these interest rates and cost of living, everything's shooting through the roof. People can't afford to make them loan payments.
Man.
So these are little tech startup companies that you'll probably never even hear of.
You know, the
But
banking,
they're all going bankrupt.
I heard a guy give a speech one time, and he said the banking system could be built to make a country flourish, but instead our banking system is built to make money itself.
Yeah.
And
those are the necessary evils to capitalism.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not worth doing anything if you
First
don't
Republic
make some
Bank
money.
in trouble because about 35% of its deposits were non-interest bearing, and 119.5 billion, or 68% of its deposits were uninsured, meaning they exceeded Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation limits. Uninsured deposits can prove flighty since they can be subject to losses if a bank fails. Holy shit.
Damn. See, I heard bits and pieces to that, but I didn't know it was laid out like that. I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, that's
that
awesome.
Was,
I like that.
damn.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I wonder what percentage of the banking system this will affect.
Like I said, this is just a small sliver of the banking industry. You know what I mean? But that's fucking unreal.
They were talking about bailouts a while ago. They're already working on bailing them out. Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't we get a bailout?
Well, we did. We did.
Hey, Joe. Times have been hard. Can I have a couple million?
Right. Listen, bro. You got your 1,200 or whatever it was.
I'll vote Democrat for the next 30 years.
I don't know if I could do that. I don't think I need that much money, first of all. So I don't think I could do that. Like, can I get a couple thousand? And I'll just keep doing what I do.
No. See, I don't want like 20 million. Just 4 to 5.
I don't even
I got
need that.
one or two luxurious things I want to buy, and then I don't want to work anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
I just want to have some toys and a nice place and with some property.
And the only reason I'm going so high is because I see what the fuck your inflation's doing. So I feel like I'm staying within reason.
But bro, like, you know,
Treasury Yellen said he has no bailout for us, only for you. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Was that like an actual speech, or was he being like sarcastic, like being smart ass? Like, this is the question. Like, did he come out and like Freudian straight slip it? Like, sorry guys, sorry, not giving it to you.
The thing is,
We need to audit them. That reminds me. I don't know why.
The thing is, man, it shouldn't like your, and I'm sure this is some people have already thought about this and put it out in a way better way than I can portray it. But it seems to me like it'd be easier and a better operating economy if our wages were just fluctuating the way inflation does. If we just automatically got a 5% raise every year to counteract inflation, or whatever it is, maybe
No.
it's 2%. I don't know what the number is, but
I feel you.
you know what I mean? If everybody just automatically got it, and the government somehow
Again, that
paid for it with the company.
none of us would have jobs in 10 years, because the guy who owns the business, and it's the rules of capitalism, necessary evils.
Right.
The man who owns the business is in business to make money. And once you take away his ability to make money to a certain level, he's no longer going to run that business.
Right, but you're not touching his profit margin. Or you're not touching his profit margin because inflation goes up.
That's true.
When inflation goes up, that means the price of everything goes up.
That means he's paying more for his materials too.
Your price of your cheeseburger goes up. The price of your labor goes up. The price of everything goes up. So you're still making the same profit margin.
It's
But if
called
our-
digital currency, Christy.
But if our government gave half a shit about its people, they could do something like a tax credit
Yep.
for that business owner to make sure that his wages are keeping up with inflation. At least that way, minimum wage people can afford a gallon of milk. I haven't made minimum wage since I was fucking 21 years old, dude. Like I got some skills. I don't make minimum wage.
See, here's
do
an
too.
interesting thought that just
Christy and
literally.
everybody else probably does what they do. They make plenty, decent money.
Yeah.
But
Here's an interesting thought that just crossed my mind. Because I'm fucking ADD. I'm ADHD as hell. So, if you wanted to come into if the United States wanted to slowly swap over to cryptocurrency, like really swap over to a digital currency. Now, what's the number one rule in American politics? You might not believe it, but I'm sure this is a big rule in American politics. Don't piss off the rednecks. Don't move too fast. You freak the rednecks out. We've about had enough already. So, you want to start implementing digital currency into America. Where would be the safest place to start? And I mean to give it some color to the picture. When they first started credit cards back in the late 70s, early 80s, airlines, elite high-end places. So if you wanted to start a digital currency in the United States, where would be the first place to get it rolling to where people wouldn't flip out that you were beginning the digital currency? Besides,
the easiest way for me to think about it like that would be for our government to give some sort of incentive, somehow, some way, for every small business, not even large business. We know small business makes up 90% of all the businesses in this country. To make small businesses not accept cash.
or
Somehow, some way, whether it's a credit card or you go and you buy these government credits, somehow, some way, you've got to be paid for with a card, with some sort of digital currency.
Or you start in Tech Valley. You shut down a bank. Oh my God, I'm sorry, so many losses, but I'll tell you what. Listen, guys, we're about to start with digital currency. So we'll just give you a massive payout in digital currency. And you'll just be ahead of the curve. They'll happily take it. We won't freak out because we'll never really hear about it, and we won't talk much about it anyway. We don't care if you trade digital currency over there. But now, you've began the economy of digital currency. It will spread. Before you know it, one of these fucks will be out here at the little general down here on 21 filling up his truck on his way to see his mom and be like, you take digital currency, right?
Bro, I've already been done that.
You know what I'm saying? That's the place
Myself.
where you start the cashless society. That is how you do it. You slip it in with Tech Valley.
I got a buddy of mine, me and him both, we hold the same crypto stock. I'm going to leave it nameless right now. But I got about 350 shares of a certain cryptocurrency that me and both my buddies share. And we both have what we call, the name of this crypto stock has its own wallet. So you download this particular wallet. And my buddy needed a bag one day. He didn't have any cash. And dude, he wired me over some crypto to pay for the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck yeah.
I mean, I got Google Wallet. I mean,
So
it's
no different. You're already headed towards the cashless society.
I use Chime. I'm already. I told her that last
So,
night. We're already 80%
headed
there.
in that direction. It's the same thing when everybody's like, "Oh, they're spying on us. Watch out
They've
now.
been watching us
Hey,
for
don't
years.
go buy the Alexa. They're spying on you.
Every time you go to Kroger and swipe that little.
You got that motherfucker in your pocket. Yeah, they're spying on you, bitch. You're carrying it around. Like they don't
You
have
pay
to
for
spy.
it.
I bet you the CIA has like 7 employees. Like,
Damn.
this is everything they need right here. They don't have to spy on nobody.
I own a little bit of a particular crypto that I'll leave unnamed. but
Yeah,
not a lot.
Dude, I bought this
Not a
crypto.
lot. I might be able to keep us afloat for 30 days until the government says we're here to
I don't
help.
know. I bought this crypto at maybe 2 cents. I think it's worth 30 cents now.
Right,
So, I mean, I've more than made my money back.
right,
I'm just letting it sit there.
right.
One day when I'm old, I'll forget about it and it'll be worth $200 or some shit.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Shit. You guys are going to have to get on here earlier next week. You know where to find us, though. You got to hit that. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're doing little short videos now.
Yeah, we're going to try to do 7:30 on Sundays. I think it works.
Yeah, if you're not too tired. If it
But
doesn't work out, we
Normally,
can do it on Mondays.
I don't have to work tomorrow.
Oh.
Normally, I would be off. So, Sundays will work because I'll be off the next day. So, it's not a big deal.
Cool.
If Sundays work for you, I mean,
I'm comfortable in it. I mean, I almost. I mean, if Friday would have. Yeah, it is, isn't it? If tomorrow would have worked out, I would have had a $700 day and would have had to been out the door at 3:30 in the morning. So I probably would have canceled for the day, but that didn't work out like that. So
damn. What was that,
My
trip
first-
to Pittsburgh or something? Or?
no, actually, I had to go to. I was going to have to go to. Was it Union, and then all the way to Morgantown? Whew. And then I had calls to make in Morgantown, and then I had a guy I had to take to Clarksburg, and then go back to Morgantown, and then go back to Union. Like I was going to have like a. It sounded like about a $1,200 day if I had my math right by the time I was done. So I was like, wow. But
Mad when they canceled that one.
yeah.
Heck
You know, we did we didn't do a crypto themed show, but if you go back to the old episodes with just the audio, we did an episode on economies that you might actually enjoy a little bit. That's another one of them. I want to go back and listen to some of them and touch up on them again. But dude, I was listening to that particular one the other day because I was thinking about highlighting some stuff out of it, and I was like, I mean, we could come back and put some charts in here or something, but man, we a solid podcast.
Right. Hey, just,
Some of our just audio bullshit was smoother
Yeah.
than yeah. What we need is somebody that can like run our videos for us and look shit up. We need we need a Jamie.
an audio
Like
technician or some shit.
yeah. I like the word volunteer a lot.
Yeah, volunteers good. Especially now. You know. So,
Yeah. So if
especially
anybody's
now.
listening and you're like, hey, I want to come over and do your AV work while you guys do the show, it could use you.
For sure. I mean, it won't be completely free. We'll smoke you the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
As long as you can still do your
There's
job.
that. I mean, I don't drink, but there's usually a bottle of tequila laying around here somewhere.
Right.
I can't believe that's still there. That's from my ex. That's from our episode where I was talking about the cartel wars. I'm glad that's oh, never mind.
Oops.
So I gotta ask, do you think McCarthy did it just to piss the left off?
What?
Huh?
Release the footage?
No. Made Marjorie Taylor Greene, gave her the gavel for a day.
Oh yeah, probably. Did
Like,
he do that?
yeah.
Ooh.
He gave Marjorie Taylor Greene the gavel for a day, made her the
Pro tempora
Yeah,
house speaker or whatever they call that
yeah,
shit. What? That, oh, I bet you that made all. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video footage on that.
Yeah.
I bet you that had some blood boiling over there, boy.
Dude, she's gonna investigate the Ukraine. She wants to know every cent that's went into Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's the thing, man. This.
I don't know. I really think that McCarthy is and I'm watching this unfold, and if I'm wrong, you can just say it, but I feel like I'm seeing this. McCarthy is an establishment Republican,
Yeah.
not a rhino. He's
No.
not. He's not full-fledged. I am Sam. He hasn't went all the way.
Him and Mitch McConnell are the same.
I don't think he's as bad as Mitch.
Mitch toes the Republican line, dude. He's not a rhino either.
But I feel
he's
like
a hardcore conservative.
I feel like they gave him speaker, and he's given into some of the, and I don't like breaking our government down into our party down into sects like this, but you have to.
But it's how it works.
He started like, he backed the MAGAs on a couple issues.
Look,
Couple that he had to, one or two that he was like, yeah, you're right. So when he did that, the rhinos and establishment Republicans started fucking poking at him, and I feel like now he's like a little bit, and I feel like he's a little bit like, all right.
He is.
All right, well, fuck you guys.
Let me point it out to you the way they laid it down to me in one of the videos.
AOC's face, yes.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. Dude, they have, the Freedom Caucus now consists of 22 Republican House of Representatives. Representatives. 22. Like, the Republicans have a 219, or it's like a very, very slim majority. It's like 7 seats, maybe 10 seats, not much. When you got 20 people that are united on that front, 22 people that are united on that front, that's going to create some tension in the Republican Party, because that's 22 senators that can hold up anything. Because Kevin McCarthy needs those 22 votes.
Right.
Because it's such a slim majority.
Right.
Dude, they've already said that they're not, if Biden don't make some concessions in his budget, he's like, they're not raising the debt ceiling.
That budget's insane, though.
$7 trillion. $6.9 trillion.
Man.
And it involves a lot of freaking handouts, and taxes are going up on everybody. It's the only way to pay for a bill like that.
Yeah.
So
he is draining America of every resource and
giving away all our weapons. He's already drained our strategic oil reserves. I mean, dude, it's and it's completely unchecked, because there's nothing the Republicans can do about it.
Right. We've got a lot of that. Yeah, I say it all the time. We have a lot of moving parts right now. There's a lot going on. There's so much going on every front. And you hate me for saying this shit, but I'm going to say it again. Have you ever seen Red Dawn? The first Red Dawn. This is a serious question. You've seen
a fucking classic.
Okay.
I've seen it a
So
lot.
the pilot gets shot down. Next scene, he's laying there by the fire, right? And he's telling them how the invasion happened. How did the invasion happen?
Go ahead, tell us. I mean,
Russian forces lined up in Cuba and South America. Panama, Venezuela.
Down south.
Yeah. We've been having turmoil with Mexico lately anyway, because I guess back in the 80s we had some issues with the cartels back then and shit, right? So we were arguing with them because of all the cocaine and shit coming across the border. So Mexico just basically got out of the way. They rolled right back up through the border before we even knew they were coming. Now I know today's technology, not before they knew, but I mean, the way shit's lining up in the world right now, I'm just like,
Dude, I've been saying it for a long time, but we just started doing a podcast, but I've been saying for a long time that I don't think the cartels in Mexico are like a serious military threat. But I think they need to be controlled somehow, because they are affecting our national security on our southern border.
Okay, so
dude, when was the last time you heard the cartel come out and apologize for killing two Americans? Bro, they felt it.
Because they know.
They felt it. The motherfucking military was like, y'all got any more of them hostages over there? Like, I'll come knock on your door, motherfucker. Like,
no, we won't.
Oh, we sorry. Here's your dead bodies back. Dude,
they know. Marjorie Taylor Greene, again.
I've never seen it.
Marjorie Taylor Greene said it. We, you know what? We can bomb them. She said it straight up. Like, everybody was mad at her, but you know what? Somebody needed to quietly say it in the back, just so it was said out loud. You know, somebody, you know, y'all, you need
bomb them bitches.
yeah. Just somebody in the back, just so somebody.
Y'all got any more of them flying Ginsu blades? You know, just put one of those out there.
Iran has ships docked in Brazil. Yeah, you see, and Iran's got that weird base underground in the desert. Nobody knows where it's at. Opens up like a weird episode of that Mask cartoon. Drones come out. That's madness. I love that shit. I hope we have one of those.
Oh, I'm sure we do. We're not qualified to be in there, though.
Like,
we don't make enough money.
You know, yeah, the cartels apologize because, yeah, dude, we're ready. Like, our government has officially said, or not our government. When I say our government, typically I mean at least one talking head in our government has openly said in front of a microphone, it's time we put military options on the table with countries who continuously ship these poisons across our border. Now that unfortunately means China too. Most of this fentanyl is Chinese made.
All of it.
A lot of it comes from Vietnam. See? Vietnam, North Korea sells a lot of opium. Unfortunately, there's this country that invaded Afghanistan years ago, and they were fucking growing shit tons of opium over there. But since they've left, they've quit.
Of course they have.
Sharia law took back over. They don't have drug addicts.
Right, but they don't necessarily use the poppy plant as a drug over there.
There is a documentary on YouTube about the drug epidemic that we left in Afghanistan when we left. And if you get a chance to sit down and watch it, I'll find it and try to post it over to ours. Dude, that's deep. They're a Sharia law land. They don't have alcohol. They don't have drugs.
Yeah.
And they didn't before we showed up. And then we showed up, and all of a sudden there's poppy fields everywhere, and our news is talking like they've been growing poppy and selling heroin for centuries. They don't do that. And when we left such a horrific opioid epidemic like we got here in the good old mountain state that they're still trying to clean up. We did that. It was part of our military strategy in Afghanistan to dope out the population.
I don't know about that, but I mean.
And then it works for a lot of control in the United States too.
I mean, I remember.
A good portion of our population is well under control.
Oh yeah.
They're in their prison cell and don't even know it. They go straight to the dope man. Straight back to their cell.
Yep.
Or even if that cell is a little place on a sidewalk in San Diego where their sleeping bag sits.
Dude, there's no doubt that debt is the new slave master.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get in debt because you can't afford to buy shit, so you get it on credit. Now you got to pay for that shit. That includes a house, a car, your stove, your refrigerator, your whatever the fuck you got financed.
Yeah.
Now you have to pay for this shit because you need it. 90% of the time, because you got shitty credit, they hitting you with the 21% interest. So you take a fucking $1,000 refrigerator and you end up paying $1,700 for it just because you're poor. For no other reason. You get charged more because you're poor. Like, let's fucking get it real.
No, it's like that. That's exactly true.
But yeah, I mean, debt is the new slave master for sure. We all
has been for years.
Go to work every day just because of my car payment and house payment, and you know I want to do this to my kayak, and I want to go on fishing trips, and all that shit requires money.
Man, some days I want to take the day off, but I'm working that because I need the money, and I want to take days off later.
Right. So speaking of days off, we're about to wrap this up.
Yeah, absolutely.
My ass is tired.
Christy, Scott, everybody.
It was nice Next week, 7:30.
Next week, 7:30. Church is at 7:30, Mr. Miller.
But check in with us because we're gonna be posting some shorts this week.
Yeah.
From the car or maybe from the kitchen.
Yeah. usually from the car for me, or
Yeah.
from the van. I'm back in the handicap van.
Might be from the kitchen for me because I'm by myself all day, so cooking for 40 old people.
What's the name of your? Never mind. I'll ask you later. I got a phone call with a job offer the other day from a place up in Canal City, and I was like, I told him I was happy where I was at, but if it's where you're at, I kind of get the similar schedule.
Yeah, no, we're not hiring anybody, but I bet you it's from Stone Rise.
Sweetbriar.
Sweetbriar's not in Canal City, but
Oh.
it's one of those. It's owned by a private company, like an investment firm,
Mm.
and from what I understand, they're a good company to work for.
It was a $13 an hour job.
Just a cook, Ben. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
no. I'm a chef.
Yeah, fuck that.
I made a beautiful chicken marsala last week. Yeah, it was good. It had been a while.
Hell yeah.
It felt good.
Yep. It feels good to do that shit in your house.
Yeah.
Not to do that shit for 40 fucking people that piss you off half the time. Yeah, I mean, it feels good to cook for your family.
It does.
Like, fuck cooking for everybody else. And, you know, no matter what you do, you can't make everybody happy. There's always going to be that one person that's just upset.
Right. She's 6, so.
Anyway, until next week, guys.
Until next
Thanks for
week,
tuning
guys.
in.
Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
See you guys.